Crystal Springs Pond. Before it was Crystal Springs, it was Emmon's Lake, a quiet little pond tucked back off the road, waiting for summer to wake it up. And for a brief shining moment in 1964, it became something magical. If you were driving past back then, you'd spot the first sign, the one with the bright red Coca-Cola logo stretched across the top. That was your invitation to a place where the innocence of youth lived in full color. Mike Anderson, author of the book What's So Funny, chronicled his experiences growing up in Clearwater, South Carolina. He was very gracious in sharing his memory of Crystal Springs with Horse Creek Legacy. The summer of 1964 was especially precious to him, and I hope that I can bring honor to that memory. We all have a responsibility to each other to preserve our history and the things that are so important to us. It's the only lasting legacy that we can leave for future generations. Instead of quoting directly from his book, I compiled the information from his book and put it together into a single script. Aunt Edna opened Emmons Lake on May 21, 1960. She let my dad and grandpa run it in 1964. My grandfather, every morning before the sun had fully climbed the sky, he'd swing by in his old Army surplus Jeep to pick me up. I can still feel the wind in my face as we rattled down that dirt road headed towards adventure. At the end of that road stood a simple concrete block building perched above a sandy beach and blue water. Families would spread out across the sand, kids racing towards the water while parents unpacked coolers and set up at the picnic tables. Little barbecue pits dotted the grounds, just big enough to grill hot dogs or burgers for lunch. And inside the building, the real magic waited. There was a concession stand that smelled like popcorn and candy, ping pong tables where rivalries were born, and the pinball machines. 3 games for a quarter. If you managed to snag the high score of the week, you didn't just earn bragging rights, you won a whole box of candy. In the back room, a black and white TV played baseball games while the grown-ups cooled off. And out on the water, you trusted your best friend with everything, your secrets, your dares, your courage. It was a brief season of innocence, adventure, and pure joy. But what I remember most is the feeling, the absolute trust you had in your best friend, the kind that only exists when you're young, the adventures you shared, the dares, the laughter, the sense that the whole world was right there in that little pond. Crystal Springs was only open for 3 or 4 months that summer, just a brief season in the long stretch of time. But those memories, they've lasted a lifetime. Sometimes I wonder how many others spent their best days at that swimming hole. How many friendships were forged there? How many stories began on that sandy beach under the Carolina sun? If you remember Crystal Springs or Emmons Lake before it, share your story below. These little places deserve to be remembered.